Welcome inside the National Indoor Stadium in Beijing, China. It is para ice hockey qualifying finals. Korea against Italy, battling for a spot in the semifinals. It's a rematch of the 2018 bronze medal game in Pyeongchang, a game that was scoreless for well over 2 periods. Korea finally scored late in the third and held on to take the bronze. Both teams have struggled to score so far at this tournament in Beijing. Korea has 1 goal. Italy has 1 goal in regulation. We'll see who can erupt for a little more offense today. Korea losing lopsided scores to the US and Canada in Group A, hoping to show what they call the real Korea today. Italy's only win in Group B came in come-from-behind fashion over Slovakia in a shootout.
These two teams both do know how to score goals. When they faced off at the quarterfinals of the 2019 World Championship, it was 6-3 to Korea on that occasion. We'd certainly love to see loads of goals to entertain the somewhat larger than expected Chinese crowd on the far side of this National Indoor Stadium. But we might be more likely to see a tighter contest. You see on the standings there, these two teams combining for only 2 of a possible 15 points in the group stage. And yet, one of them is going to be playing for a semifinal and have every chance of taking home a medal here from Beijing 2022.
So Team Korea will be in the blue jerseys, and there you see Team Italy. Those are beautiful shots overhead, all gathered around Gabriel Arudo, the 4-time Paralympian who will play in net. The referees in the game, or the referee is Bobby Esposito from the US, Matt Fergenbaum from Canada, and Andreas Lunden from Sweden on the lines. And Captain Jung Jung-ho meeting up with the referees. On the other side will be Captain Gianluca Cavalieri. And there's the roster for Team Korea. We're going to keep an eye on number 14, Jung Sung-hwan. He is the only goal for them in the tournament and leads them in ice time. And their goaltender, number 32 at the top, could be very important. He made 31 saves against Canada. Coach for Korea, Hyun-Min Soo, 3-time Paralympian himself, was a bronze medalist for the team in Pyeongchang in 2018 and takes over the team. He says para ice hockey is his life. We're going to keep a close eye on number 3, Gianluigi Rosa. He averaged well over 25 minutes in the first 2 games, then only played 4.5 against China. He has Italy's only regulation goal in the tournament. We don't know if he's banged up. He is on the ice and getting ready to start for head coach Massimo Darin.
Maybe a sense that Darin will have kept him in reserve, knowing that this is the important game. Figured that they would probably be through to the qualifying finals regardless of the result yesterday against the Chinese. They only got 1 shot on goal in that game, and Lee may see a little bit more rubber than that in this contest for the Koreans. But South Korea, for their part, they've only had 7 shots on goal in their 2 games against the Americans and the Canadians, but very different level of opposition in Italy here today. It figures to be, it's kind of a tough one to call. The South Koreans should certainly be favored, but these two teams not with a lot of pace on their respective sledges, and it may well be that it's down to who gets the better bounces and who can generate that little bit more offense than they've been able to plug away with in the first few games. There is Rosa, as you mentioned, the enigma on the ice for this Italian team today, and it kind of depends as well on how well Gabriele Araudo plays. 47 years of age, the Italian goaltender, gave up no goals against the Chinese coming on in the 3rd period after Julian Kasslader had relieved Araudo because of an injury in the 2nd game against the Slovaks. We'll have to wait and see what happens in this one here today.
Should be interesting. A spot in the semifinals on the line. And we are underway. Team Italy in white, Team Korea in blue. It's a qualifying final with a spot in the semis on the line already. We have an icing call against Italy. We'll be watching the Italian number 18. He's not on the ice right now. Andrea Macri, the 3-time Paralympian. He leads all players in this tournament in time on the ice. In fact, Italy has really used a short bench. 3 of their top 4 ice time players average per game are from the Italian team. De Pauli is one of them. He shoots the puck to the blue line. Does it get out? Yes, says the linesman. It's a delayed offside, but knocked out to center And Gianluigi Rossa looks like he's pushing along pretty well, moving his sled. Anderley now, the defenseman for Team Italy, gives it to Larch. He scored a couple of goals in the shootout, Larch, and boy, that was a huge emotional lift and obviously gave them the win. Korea to center, Lee Jung-kyung. Taken away by the Italian captain Cavalieri, swings it across for Rosa. Up the right wing, but it's intercepted by Korea. In for Jung Sung-hwan, now back to the blue line, Kim Yong-shun. Bouncing puck, who wants it? Italy's finally gonna take it, and Larch is gonna bring it out to center. And then Rosa slams into Jung Sung-hwan. Pass intercepted by Larch, and he gets it to Rosa. Across the blue line, and not much further, but it does slide to the net, not in control, but still gets to the net. Lee Jae-hwang, the 25-year-old who was chosen top goaltender in Pyeongchang in 2018, holds on.
Well, this is sort of the pattern of play we expect in this contest. The Koreans had been a team built on speed, but as they've gotten older, they now have 7 players in the squad over the age of 40, and in fact, only 2 players under the age of 30. So sort of coming to the end of their life cycle as one of the top teams in para ice hockey, you might say.
Almost a giveaway caused by the pressure from Andreoni on Choi Kwang-hyuk, but again covered up by Lee Jae-hwang. There is the busy goaltender.
And you mentioned the Italians' lack of depth for their part. When they've got fewer top-level players able to skate on the ice and skate at pace, it does mean you have to rely upon your workhorses a bit more, and it means that you're not going to expect to have massive amounts of pace throughout the contest.
Team Italy racing back, but it's going to be called on the icing. If you're new to para ice hockey, if you shoot from your side of center ice across the other team's goal line, then it's an icing call, and you cannot make a line change defensively. Sometimes that will really benefit the offensive team.
Koreans, this is really their first time to play against a team they're not heavily disadvantaged against, and it's interesting to see how quickly they can break out of the habits that they may have had to have against the Americans and the Canadians. Fewer icings, they can afford to be more deliberate in possession coming up the ice.
And yet again, an icing call. Korean captain Jung Ho said, quote, "We need to be focused on defense. We must target the quarterfinal and we must win." That's what he said after the loss against Canada. Korea's goaltender Lee Jae-hwang said, "Next time we will be better." Promised that. He said, "We will show the best of Korea," and that's what lays ahead for them here. Korea back in its own zone. Choi Kwang-hyuk for Kim Yong-shun. Takes a heavy hit. And another hit, and that's going to bring a penalty. And it's going to bring a power play to Italy. It'll be Kim Yong-sun who goes to the box. And Italy, which has yet to score on the power play on 10 opportunities in the tournament, will go to its first.
That was a strange incident there. You see the bump in the end with Roberto Radice staggering backwards. I think that's the call that was made against Kim Yong-sung, holding the signal. It could have been maybe roughing possibly, but either way, the Italians, as you said, 0 for 10 on the power play. They were 3 for 11 at the World Championships last year with a man advantage.
Here is Macri. He's the one we talked about who logged so much ice time for Team Italy. Leaves it there for Larch. Nails Larch across for Cavalieri. Gets a shot on net. Lee the save. And Lee Jae-hwang will hold on. So an early chance for Italy on this power play.
And the Koreans, for their part, only 4 for 8 in killing off opposition power plays in this tournament. Again, they just seem to me their morale is a little bit low coming into this game on the back of 2 heavy defeats. They need to snap out of it and step it up here. The Italians can be beaten, certainly. You'd expect them, as said, to be favored in this game, but it's not really looking like it so far.
De Pauli takes a hit along the boards from Choi. De Pauli trying to control the puck for Italy and gets set up on this power play. Cavalieri from the blue line calmly pushes it in for Rosa. Sends it in front of the net, but intercepted by Korea. Can they get it out? Not yet. Another penalty coming, though. This one's going to be against Italy. But first, we've got a race, Choi Si-Hoo. And he's taken against the boards by Macri. So De Pauli's going to get a teeing penalty here.
Yeah, that's when you lead with the front edge of your sledge, sort of a ramming action. Watch it there. That is as clear a team penalty as I think we've seen in this entire competition. It's obviously dangerous to use your sled as an offensive weapon. Releasa will skate 4-on-4 for the next 68 seconds.
Yeah, this could be interesting with some little more open ice. It'll be Andrioni against Jeng Jong-ho. And the Italian Andrioni wins it for Enderle. Boy, this has been a really physical tournament. Almost every game, there's just every inch is being battled for. And some of these teams have played every day as well, especially the Group B teams. That could have an effect as we go along. Andrioni gets it to the blue line, kept in. There's a long shot steered aside by Arudo. Another chance for Lee. Scores! Lee Jong-kyung. Did someone else get a piece of it on the way in? Arudo with a discussion with his defenseman possibly. What happened there?
I think Jang Dong-shin, watch the number 20 off the first save. The attempted clearance comes out to Jang, and that shot did maybe take a slight deflection off the body of the Italian captain, Gianluca Cavalieri. It's been credited to Jang. 3:30 into the game, and the Koreans get that goal. The first time they've scored with less than a 9-goal deficit. They only got their first goal against the Americans at the end of that massive blowout on opening day for them. And still another 37 seconds of 4-on-4 skating.
So indeed it is Jang Dong-shin who gets credit for that one. And Team Italy, which had looked maybe the better team in the first few minutes, now in the back seat. Korea back it across the Italian line. Ramotti trying to chase down his man, Choi Bae-suk. And Italy getting it past the blue line. Macri from his belly swings a pass across for Torella. And long shot dumped into the corner. So it is a power play right now for Korea. They scored that goal while the teams were 4-on-4. Rosa across the blue line, one of the penalty killers for Italy. Korea gets it across the line. Rosa comes back for it. And look out, it rolls into the net. The net comes off. And the Italian player upset, but referee Esposito saying no penalties on the play.
And Araujo, not sure how much confidence he has despite his good performance against the Chinese in the final Group B game for Italy there. He was barreled into, I think maybe just on the borderline of whether you might call a goaltender interference penalty there. But Araujo needs to stiffen up. He's obviously been beaten by a deflected goal, but he needs to play with confidence. He needs to backstop this Italian team. It's 4-1 for the Koreans thus far, and you figure he's going to see a lot more rubber to come over the remainder of this game.
Yeah, Korea's fired more shots in this game than they pretty much have the whole tournament. And the puck in the corner. Jung-ho in behind the net, taken away by Cavalieri. He will left-hand the puck to the blue line, but it is kept in by Kim Jong-sung. And now Larch will send it down the ice. And the power play is over, so the teams are back to 5-on-5. And Larch applying the pressure. Back for it goes Ru Ji-hyun, the 35-year-old making his Paralympic debut. Back for Jung Jung Ho. Under pressure from De Paoli. Two Italians trying to get the puck, so Italy really aggressive here. And maybe a chance. Here it comes. De Paoli with a shot. He went early with the shot instead of moving in, and he does not fool Lee Jae-hwang. 1-0 Korea, early stages of this qualifying game here in Beijing.
The goal scorer, Jang Dong-shin, his nickname among the team is Key Man. Seems appropriate after lighting the lamp to start the scoring here. A former wheelchair fencer, as indeed is his wife. Both of them coming together in the fencing world, but changing disciplines. He's played in 5 world championships for South Korea and 3 Paralympic games going back to 2010 in Vancouver before this tournament. So Jang, he's got the experience. He's 46 years of age. He might just be the oldest goal scorer at the tournament thus far. I'd have to check the stat sheet for that, but Koreans with plenty of experience. They need to have some youthful vitality as well, though, to progress further in this tournament.
1-0 Korea. Just under 9.5 to go in the period. Macri almost lost it. Ramoti comes in. Pressure from Korea in front of the net and just missed by the Korean attacker Siwoo. Choi Siwoo. Now Andreoni trying to hide it under his sled. He does. Deals it over to the other side. Nobody there. Choi Siwoo again. Passes it essentially to himself. He's got a collision maybe here with Radici. Scrambly play in the Team Italy corner. Radici in behind the net for Andreoni. Comes back the same way again. Here's Macri. And he'll send it out for Kirschbaumer. Finally, the Italians, well, they still don't get it out. Looked like it was on its way just inside the blue line, and finally does come to center ice.
Yeah, they're very much on the back foot at the moment. Bad decision there behind the net, I think by Enderle there, or Radice zigging when he should have zagged.
Team Korea shooting it right back into the Italian corner. Korea changing, but they did not get across center here. It looks like an icing call. So the goal scorer in the game, Jang Dong-shin, was the only goal scorer in the bronze medal game 4 years ago as well. So he has a habit of scoring big goals against Italy.
And that was a chance for Choi Siwoo. He just couldn't reach out that right-handed stick in time. Yet to score in any major tournament, Choi Siwoo. And maybe seeing why right there.
Choi Kwang-hyuk in behind the net. Just got enough on it to get it to Choi Siwoo. And it is Lee Jung-kyung. Another penalty coming. And it's going to be against Italy when they get a touch on the puck. They've got their goaltender out, Korea does. Extra attacker on the ice. As Cavalieri touches the puck, it's going to be a holding penalty. And it'll be Korea to its second power play of the game. Each team has had an abbreviated one.
Yeah, and that bright Italian starts. They've sort of lost their momentum. You see maybe another team penalty there against Radice. Radice before this game said his body's feeling good. I love to play, can't wait for the next game. But actually it's large they've called for holding rather than the team penalty on Radice. They probably could have called either of those penalties against the Italians.
Pick your poison, yeah. So it is Korea heading back. Choi Kwang-hyuk. And now it's going to be intercepted and quickly flipped down the ice by Christophe De Paoli.
The Italians should feel confident in this game based upon their past history against the Koreans. They won the game between these two sides in the group stage at the Paralympics in 2014. They've won two of the 5 World Championship games they played.
Here comes Korea back down with Kim Young-sung. Enderle runs into Ryu. Puck squirts free. Enderle gets a stick on it, goes down off his blades. And just a mad scramble in the corner finally comes out. Rosa picks it up and choosing to just send it down the ice.
We are watching Rosa very carefully. He's at center ice right now, seeing as though he doesn't have any effects of that injury.
If indeed there was an injury, we were speculating,
yeah, indeed,
weren't we?
That's right.
Jang Jung-ho across the ice for Cho Si-woo, and it's going to be a penalty here against Rosa. He will take himself to the penalty box.
And that's going to be 37 seconds of 5-on-3 time for the Koreans. You could see what Rosa was trying to do there, sticking his arm out to impede the progress. The Koreans suddenly had a little bit of forward momentum. That's the original penalty against Larch, and here that's about as clear, well, they've called holding, you could call tripping for the way he disrupted the sled.
And so, desperate moments now for Italy. Here's a chance for Jung, and he couldn't pull the trigger. Jung Sung-hwan. He might have another chance here as Italy is scrambling around defensively. Korea moving the puck. Choi Hyung-jae has to regroup, though, at center. Final 10 seconds in the first penalty, brought in by Lee Jung-hyung. Drop pass for Choi Si-woo, the youngest player on the team. And the puck squirts free. DePauli just quickly shot it, not hard enough to get it out. One penalty's over, though. And Larch, the man out of the box, picks up the puck and flips it ahead. DePauli trying to hunt it down now in the Team Korea corner. His team's still shorthanded, though.
Two fantastic shot blocks by Cavalieri for the Italians in that Korean 5-on-3 shift.
Jung Sung-hwan across the Italy blue line. It's going to be scooped up by Cavalieri, and he'll bank it off the boards and out. Just under 50 seconds to go in this penalty against Rosa. Korea trying to establish here. Jung Sung-hwan, there's a shot, didn't get to the net. Choi Si-woo, blocked by Larch. Macri might have a chance to clear it, and it does just hop out to the blue line. DePauli with good pressure, and Korea changing. Just had that one man who was turned away from the puck, but now they're back in the zone. Overskating it, though, is Jang Jung-ho. And we've got another penalty coming on this play. This is going to be a teeing call.
Take a look at some of the offense on the power play. That shot fired high and wide. A couple of chances. There was one for Jung Sung-hwan on the power play, which should have been buried or certainly should have hit the target. Maybe lacking a little bit of confidence. He was South Korea's most impressive player against the Americans on opening day. But here the Italians about ready to go onto the power play in 11 seconds time once the initial penalty to Rosa is over.
Last time we were 4-on-4, Korea scored. Italy would like to try to do the same, but they'll only play 11 seconds, and then we'll go to the man advantage. And Rosa will presumably stay on the ice when he gets out of the box. Sent out to center by Korea all the way down. This might be an icing. It will. 1 second left in the penalty against Gianluigi Rosa. 1-0 Korea. Just over 4 minutes to go here in period number 1. The winner of this game goes to the semifinals. The loser will play in the 5-6 game. And the Korean player Choi Byung-suk thrown out of the face-off circle. In to take it comes Ryu Ji-hyun. Face-off won by Italy. Here's Macri. Slides a pass across for Underlay. Has to go get it. Rosa out of the penalty box. Italy on the power play. Here is Niels Larch to the blue line for Enderley. Sends one towards the net. Ends up in the corner. Kaufman. Larch. Italy trying to get something set up here. Got to get the puck out of the scrum in the corner. It's Macri. Rosa has a little bit of room finally. Gets a shot, knocks the stick right out of the hands of Ryu Ji-hyun. Now Rosa collecting the puck. Back to the blue line for Underlay. Long shot caught by Lee Jae-hwang, and he's going to hold on.
Good glove work there by Lee, the Korean goaltender. 26 saves against the Americans, 31 saves against the Canadians. In both of those games, he did not finish. Played the first 2 periods against the Americans, and you see again the Korean captain, Jang Jong-ho, in the penalty box.
Pretty good example of a team call there, I think. Back to the blue line with Rosa. Just got it past the Korean player, but Italy has to regather at center ice, and good pressure by Choi Si-woo. Almost causes a turnover. Macri leaves it behind his net for Rosa. When they needed him the most, Rosa scored a big tying goal against Slovakia, also scored in the shootout against Slovakia. And he's got the puck now. Rosa across the Korea blue line, but they shut the door on him. And Choi Si-woo back to get it. Comes all the way back towards the blue line. Macri lofting a shot high over the net. De Pauli goes to get it. Leaves it there for Rosa to the front of the net, but easily gathered in by Korea, and they'll send it to center. Final few seconds now of the Italy power play. They're about to go 0 for 2 on the man advantage. Rosa lost it. Sent in by Jang just out of the penalty box. And racing after it goes Jung. Taken over by Macri. Huge hit there. You could just hear the chairs colliding. Rosa going back for it. He's already played more minutes in this opening period than he did the entire game against China. Another big body check thrown along the boards by Larch as he slams into Jang Jong-ho. And Italy sending the puck down the ice. Will this be an icing? No, says the linesman. Less than 90 seconds to go. Opening period, 1-0 Korea, leading Italy. A spot in the semifinals on the line. Jang Jong-ho tries to drop it off, but it's stolen by Andrioni. His pass for Larch had Larch going the other way. Now Korea finding Lee. And it's going to be offside at the Team Italy blue line. 1-0 Korea on a goal by Jang Dong-shin.
Well, both teams have had their chances on the 5-on-4, and in Korea's case, the 5-on-3. Gabriele Araujo has had to make 4 saves thus far. Lee Jae-wang at the other end, just the 3. You mentioned Rosa. He's now spent nearly 8 minutes on the ice. Andrea Macri leading the Italians in ice time with exactly 9 minutes thus far. But it's Choi Si-woo leading everyone with 9 minutes, 19 seconds on 9 different shifts. Koreans trying to get as many shifts as they can, keep the shifts as short as possible with their aging roster. Make sure that they remain as fresh as possible across all 45 minutes. Remember, only 15 minutes per period in para ice hockey as opposed to 20 minutes in non-disabled hockey. But it's quite a juggling act for Han Min-soo on the Korean bench to make sure he keeps his players as fresh as they possibly can be.
Late stages of the opening period, 15-minute periods in para ice hockey. Cavalieri, the 50-year-old Italian captain, back to Anderley, sends it off the boards and out to center. Kim Young-sung Slammed into by Andrioni. It's going to be a delayed offside here, though. And the Italian player finally realizes it after the whistle went. And that was Alessandro, or at least Francesco Torella. And because this is an intentional offside, they're going to bring the face-off all the way back into the Italian zone. But I think Torella's argument would be, I didn't realize it.
Same rules in non-disabled hockey as in para-ice hockey in that regard.
So an important face-off with less than a minute to go in the period in the Italian zone.
Linesmen have been very persnickety in this tournament about kicking people out of the face-off circle, and any sort of violation has occurred.
There's a lot of persnickety-ness going on there. Choi Kwang-hyuk set to the front of the net. Here's a chance for you. Fires, and Gabriel Arudo makes a great save with the old pad stack. And look at this mad scramble in front of the Italian net. It's still loose somehow, referee Esposito says. Finally, he's decided we gotta blow the whistle. We can't find the puck.
It's like the puck had magnets in it, drawing all the sleds together. And Araujo, that was the save of the game thus far for either goaltender. Suddenly, with a little bit of space, Ri Ji-hyun snapped the shot. It was a blocker save with Araujo, or the shoulder in the way. Any part of the body will do. Trying to make himself as big as possible. See how far he's come out of his crease to narrow the angle and make it tougher to elevate over the top of his body.
Doing a nice job at it, too. Choi Byung-suk comes in to take the face-off for Korea. But Rosa had a stick on it, couldn't clear it. Can Korea get another chance here? Late stages of the period. Jang Jong-ho from his side, battling there with Rosa. Rosa seems to want to just freeze the puck, finally flips it around the boards. Grabbed by Jang, the goal scorer, and he almost had another one. And the horn sounds. And the only goal of the period was by Jang Dong-shin, and he almost scored a second one. It is Korea 1, Italy 0 after one period of play here in the qualifying final in Beijing.
I'm not sure which of the two teams will be happier with the way that period ended. The Italians avoiding catastrophe here. The long shot from the point. Nicely saucered toward the net, just wide of the blocker and rippling the outside of the cage. So the Italians probably will be happy to get into this first intermission, trailing by just the 1-0.
Italy came on strong early on in this game, but the momentum taken away by Korea. They scored the goal and then seemed to really gather some confidence. Kind of had Italy on the back foot for much of that period. Both teams 0 for 2 on the power play in the period. In fact, Korea may have had a partial third power play. Shots on goal definitely favor Korea 7-3, and they have the only goal, lead it 1-0 over Italy.
First period highlights between South Korea and Italy, the number 4 and number 7 ranked sides in the para ice hockey world. The Koreans were under more pressure early on. You see Alessandro Andreoni on the rampage for Italy. They got the first shot on target there, the save made by Lee Jae-won, and they certainly looked the brighter side in the first 3 or 4 minutes. That pass to the Italian captain, Gianluca Cavalieri. Room making the save. Koreans would eventually opened the scoring. The first shot deflected off of Cavalieri, and the second one as well maybe just caught the edge of Cavalieri's stick as the puck went into the net. Scored by Jang Dong-shin, unassisted as things stand at the 3:30 mark of the first period. And Araujo, good workman, never blames his tools, right? Looking at his stick there as crashing the net literally there. Jung Chung Hwan for the Koreans. And that goal gave them a little impetus to take charge of the first period. You see the ever-dangerous Jung centering the puck across for Choi Si-woo, unable to connect. Could have been a tap-in if he found his right-handed stick. And you see these Korean highlights. They kept coming forward. The overskating there by Jang Jong-ho, the Korean captain, in part because the linesman's skates blocked the passage of the puck. These things do happen both in non-disabled hockey and para-ice hockey. That long shot, weak in the air, gloved down by Lee. The Italians with 2 more shots on goal already in this game than they got against the Chinese in their final Group B encounter. But at the end of 15 minutes, the Koreans firmly in front by 1-0-0.
Qualifying final in Beijing at the National Indoor Stadium in para ice hockey. Two teams fighting tooth and nail for a spot to get into the semifinal. And it is Team Korea leading Team Italy 1-0 on a goal by Jang Dong-shin, the same player who scored the only goal between these two teams in Pyeongchang in the bronze medal game. Could that be the only goal in this game? Well, Italy certainly hopes not, but it'll be interesting to see if they can turn things around. Got outshot 7-3 in that opening period and obviously outscored 1-0.
I think there's more goals in this game, personally. Jang Dong-shin, it was not until the 11:42 mark of the third period that goal was scored 4 years ago against the same goaltender, Gabriele Araudo. But certainly the Italians will feel as though if they can play like they did in the first 3 or 4 minutes on a more regular basis throughout the final 2 periods, that they will have shots onto Lee Jae-wong. As for the Koreans, they built up a little bit of momentum. They're still seem to me a little bit fragile in terms of the psyche that they're approaching this game with. They've got the lead. They've had a talking to now from their legendary coach, Han Min-soo. And for their sake, I hope that they can build upon that lead and really start stringing passes together and playing the way that they know that they can and they know that they have in the past. They have a history of success in tournaments like this. They are former World Championship silver medalists. They were bronze medalists against the Italians 4 years ago on their home ice in Pyeongchang. But this South Korean team, 2019 third place in the Worlds, 2017 third place in the Worlds, 2012 second place in the Worlds, and because they're such an old and experienced squad, most of the players in those tournaments have been involved in that run and in those great competitions over the past decade, and so they need to just remember that from their history and come out onto this ice and say, look, we're a better team than the Italians. We know that we can play really good para ice hockey and just bring their best form to this game, and they should be able to see this through. But the Italians, of course, will have something to say about it themselves. And I wonder what Massimo Durin will have said to his side during that first intermission and what changes he might, just tweaks at the margins he might want to make to hopefully spark some more offense for Italy in this second period.
8 players were on the team in Italy that lost in the bronze medal game. 9 players returning from the Team Korea side. Second period underway. Team Italy in white, Team Korea in blue, battling for a spot in the semifinals. The only goal of the game scored by Jang Dong-shin, number 14, and there he is, or at least was number 20 with the puck, but that is Sung, and here he is again. Jung Sung-hwan, stopped by Cavalieri to the blue line, and can the Italy get it out? Yes, they do to center. Rosa has De Pauli with him, gives him a pass, and it's just half a meter or so ahead of him. You want to lead a player with the pass, but that was a little too much leading. Kim, or at least Jung. And now Jang. Centering pass, might be a chance in front, but it's broken up by Cavalieri. And then racing back is De Pauli, makes a nice play to control it, but he curls back a couple of times. And finally pushes it out to center. Rosa across the blue line, across the red line at least. Now sends a pass in for Larch. He might have a path to the net. Here goes Larch, shoots, hit the crossbar. Wow, that was close. As Larch just turned on the speed and made a nice little outside-inside move as Jung picks up the puck and races it out to center. His pass for the youngest player on the team, Choi Si-woo, but it's blown down on the offside.
Well, that is the bright start that the Italians will have been looking for. That pass which just missed De Pauli before Larch. Score of the crucial penalty shot goal. Yeah, just clipped the top of the pipe. And Larch, who had the assist on the Rosa goal late in the third period against Slovakia, before scoring both of his penalty shots in the shootout, which saw them through to this qualifying final stage of the competition. Boy, that was inches away from 1-1.
And yet here we are with a 1-0 Team Korea lead as they head back into their own zone with Choi Byung-suk. Kaufman puts pressure on them though. Almost causes a turnover. Ryu Ji-hyun. And it's kept in by Andrioni. Couldn't feed a pass through for Ramoti though, and back comes Kim. Across the Team Italy blue line. Here's a shot on net, stopped by Arudo on Kim Young-sung. And almost a giveaway. Balasetti doesn't see it, it's behind him. And the shot on net never did get there. So Balasetti was thinking the puck was one place and it was right in his vicinity. He's sitting there in front of the net as the puck comes to his goaltender, Arudo, and he will hold on.
Wow. You see the Koreans streaming forward 3-on-2. And this is the difficulty in para ice hockey. You can't skate backwards. And so on this occasion, Makri decided to play the pass rather than the shot, even though Kim was able to bear down on goal. It was a really good effort. Araudo lucky to be positioned to make that stop, but talked about the fragility of the Koreans. Maybe the Italians looking a little bit like they might not be able to build upon their bright start in this period.
And it's going to be a penalty here in front of the net as Anderle really had no choice. That's the kind of penalty the coaches don't mind so much because it avoided a scoring chance, but he's going to go to the box for holding 2.5 minutes into the second period.
Yeah, that's, in football terms, you might call that a professional foul. And if the Italians, well, in Serie A, that would have been one of the dark arts in professional football that you might see. But Anderle, clever play. He'd never like to give up a penalty, but that one was probably quite a good one to take.
Korea going to its 4th power play of the game, working it in front. And this scramble, Jung trying to jam it in. Look at the pile again in front. And finally, referee Esposito blows it down. And obviously some words being exchanged there.
We've seen traffic jams like this on the Beijing city streets in our time here during the Olympics and Paralympics, and that was quite a tangle of sleds and bodies. You see Korea's star scorer of their one group stage goal, Jung Seung Hwan, getting in front, and at full stretch, Araudo, nicknamed the Ocean of Wisdom, Oceano di Saggezza, and showing his experience there to stretch the body fully out.
Nice. Back to the blue line, Lee. In fact, that is Jang Dong-shin. Now Jung in front. Spinning shot. And again, a mad scramble, and Arudo covers up as the puck came in off of De Pauli, who says, sorry about that, mate.
I think that's the best passing move I've seen from the Koreans in the entire tournament. Watch it here. Tick, tack, toe. Right on the doorstep, but just not in the right shooting position. Choi Si-woo, he needed to carry on the left hand. It's his weaker hand, but he tried to pivot to his right, and by the time he got there, the shooting chance was gone.
Still just under a minute and a half to go in this power play. Korea's already generated a couple of chances. Bouncing puck. Whacked at and knocked out to center by Niels Larch, and De Pauli will chase it, but getting back there is Lee Jung-kyung. Swings it up. Comes back to him again. Getting across the Italian line. Larch, though, is going to get a stick on it. Can he clear it? Not yet. Korea now approaching with numbers in the corner, but it is flipped out to center ice by Rosa, and it's going to go all the way down.
And this is where the lack of Korean team speed can be very difficult when they have to start all the way from their own end with 39 seconds left on the power play chance. It's just a little bit tougher to get forward momentum on the 5-on-4.
Choi Si-woo across the Italian blue line takes a heavy shoulder hit. And here comes a chance for De Pauli, maybe a breakaway racing in. De Pauli stick handle shoots off the side of the net, and he goes heavily into the end boards. And a great short-handed chance, maybe another one. Larch takes it in behind the net. Of course, this team, Italy, will be the host nation of the next Paralympic Winter Games in 4 years' time in Milano Cortina. And they want to go home with as good of a result as they possibly can here. Italy has killed off the penalty, so they are 4 for 4 on the penalty kill in this game. Macri tries a little drop pass for Enderle, has to go get it. Just about a third of the way through the second period. Enderle gets to center, fires it in. Kaufman races after it, but it's going to be out of his reach. And the captain for Korea helping it get out to center ice. Enderle picks it up, and he'll do the same. Just shoot it right back in again. But Italy changing, so they've got a delayed offside situation as Kim Jong-sung picks it up. His pass just out of the reach of Ryu. Enderle goes back to get it. Gives it for Andrioni. Doesn't connect with the pass, though. The two number 27s battle in the corner. The puck squirts free for Jang Jong-ho. And it's going to be Torella with a chance to clear it. And he can't do it yet. Cavalieri will just send it over there where there's nobody on this right wing. And it's knocked right back into the Italian corner.
Going back to that chance for Christophe De Pauli, a breakaway, shorthanded opportunity. His hero, Sidney Crosby, was someone who wanted to be involved in Beijing 2022. The great Canadian member of the Pittsburgh Penguins in the NHL. Of course, NHL players not involved in this tournament.
Here's a steal, Andrioni in front, and De Pauli was there, but somehow it didn't find its way through. Here's De Pauli again. He is buzzing in the period. Gives it to Macri. His shot is blocked. Macri goes back for it. And another penalty coming. This is going to be against Korea, and Choi Si-woo is going to go to the box, I believe. And it will be Italy to the power play here, but they're trailing 1-0 against Korea, 8:23 to go in period number 2.
And still down in the Italian corner is Macri. It was Si-woo there. That's dangerous play, leading again with the sledge. The penalty has been called for teeing against Choi Si-woo, the only skater under the age of 30, not counting the goaltender Lee Jae-wong in the South Korean side. But this is the best of Italy we've seen in the entire tournament, perhaps, even including the penalty shootout win over the Slovakians. De Pauli, the center of so much good stuff in that last shift. You see him come out down the ice, getting a little head of steam, bearing down on goal. Just couldn't quite free himself up for the right angle of shot. It was good back checking there, I think, from Kim Sang-lak for the Koreans.
Face off, though, in the Korean zone. Let's see if Italy can finally break the seal on the Korean net. Lee Jae-hwang's been good. There's another shot. He has it go off his glove. Choi to the blue line, and out it comes to center. Italy working on its third power play of the game. And we've got an offside call.
Well, Massimo Durin, head coach of the Italians since 2004, also coaches HC Como in the second division of the Italian league in non-disabled hockey, you might say. I don't know what he said during that first intermission break, but it's certainly been working thus far. Italians just need a goal to capitalize on all their good work this far in the first 7 minutes of the period.
De Pauli didn't like the way he was spun around, looked at the officials, but they were busy watching where the puck was and said, no penalty there. Here's Larch, takes a long pass at center, chips it ahead, nobody there in white, but racing in is Kaufman. In to help out comes Larch. Lurking in front of the net is De Pauli. Here's Rosa, and he couldn't get a shot away. A great burst of speed by Jung to steal it. Jung Sung-hwan. And Korea sending it all the way down the ice off the stick of Choi Hyung-jae.
Rosa just not quite quick enough of thought there. He had two options, the shot or the pass, and he chose neither.
Here they come again. This is De Pauli. He's had a couple of chances. He fires and just misses. And so Italy generating opportunities, if not shots on goal, as they look to tie this game. Korea, though, showing lots of gumption here on this penalty kill with about half a minute to go in it. Trying to keep the play into the Italian zone. They do. McAtee goes back to get it. Lots of ice time again for him. Remember, leading the tournament in ice time. McAtee. Up ahead it goes for Kaufman. Sends a fairly weak shot at net. Lead the save. Korea has a chance, can't get it out. Here's another loose puck in front. Kaufman goes right stick to left and holds on, gets it to Rosa. And it goes to an open corner. Korea has killed off the penalty, and we're back to 5-on-5.
Just a moment there. Oh, sorry, carry on.
Here we go with Jang to the net with a shot, and he couldn't get much on it and missed the target. But the Korean captain stays with it. A pass for Park. And that's blocked. So Italy doing a good job blocking the middle. And Rosa going to race after the puck. Under pressure from Choi Byung-suk. Now left for Kaufman. His pass just about right into the possession of Choi. But Italy manages to recover it. And now McAtee has to head back in his own zone. I think he was thinking of heading off the ice, but no rest yet for him. Here's Rosa. Calmly around the boards onto the left wing side for Radici, can't get to it. And Team Korea, a giveaway. Here's Ramoti. Ramoti's shot, and that's stopped by Lee. Ramoti pushes the puck towards the Korean net. And the Koreans under some pressure again here. Andrioni. Now Choi trying to get it out. Got it past Anderle. Ahead for Choi Si-woo. Sent down the ice, though. And an icing call. Not what Korea wanted, because now they cannot make a line change, and Italy can.
And that plays right into what we were saying earlier about Han Min-soo trying to keep short shifts on the ice. The Italians continuing to turn up the pressure. A good shift there for Stefan Kaufman. He had a real opportunity to fire a shot on goal, but maybe just that little lack of technical ability there. Sometimes we talk about speed being the most important factor in para ice hockey, but you've got to be able to think quickly and act decisively.
And a mad scramble after this face-off is picked up by Korea. And Jung Sung Hwan. He gives it right away to De Pauli. Sends a backhand pass across. Here's Larch with a shot. Blockered away by Lee. Jung will try again on this side. Pushes it out to center for Jang. And this is actually Choi Young-jae. Kipped in at the blue line. Centering pass, they score! Tipped in front by Jung Sung Hwan on a nice setup from Lee Jung-kyung.
Until that moment, the Italians had been out shooting the Koreans 6-2 in the second period, but how quickly the tables can turn. A little bit of puck luck, the bounce back to the point. A beautiful spot on the pass. Jang Dong-shin on the doorstep for Jung Sung Hwan, and that is as easy a goal as he'll ever score in para ice hockey. The Italians just for once losing their defensive shape, and the second goal of the tournament for Jung Sung Hwan.
He's done so much in this game in creating his own opportunities, and then he just goes to the net, and Jang Dong-shun delivers, and he tips home the goal that gives Korea a 2-0 lead. Kirschbaumer, the Italian fifth defenseman, And there's going to be a penalty here. And it's going against, I think maybe it's a glove pass. What do we got here? No, there is a penalty. It's a tripping call against Italy, and it's going to be Korea back to the power play.
So that's not how you want to follow up on the second goal of the game being scored. It's not really much in that for me.
Yeah, I got that wrong. It's actually, well, it is Kershbaumer. So we've got a little confusion in the broadcast booth, if not on the ice.
I was going to say on the ice as well. That wasn't much in that for either side for me as far as penalties are concerned. But the Italians, well, this is the worst case scenario now. Rocked back on their heels by that goal, and they may just feel everything's slipping away from themselves. Here was the chance for DePauli a moment or two before the goal, just firing it well wide. Got the elevation, just ticked. Actually, that's a good save, I beg his pardon. Not giving Lee the credit he deserved.
So Korea heading to its 5th power play of the game, leading already 2-0 on goals by Jang Dong-shin and Jung Sung-hwan. So Team Italy facing crucial moments here. If they can kill this off, they'll be in a pretty good spot. If not, it's going to be danger time. Here's Andreoni to the blue line, not out, kept in. Kim Jong-sun. Jang Jo-ho, there's a shot, Arudo the save, and the rebound is poked wide of the net. And Rosa is going to loft it down the ice and relieve a little pressure.
That's a huge save by Araudo. Again, full stretch, the glove along the ice. You've just got to make yourself as wide as possible in goal in situations like that. And Araudo just keeping his team really in the game.
Sent back in by Korea. Macri might have a chance to clear it. He rims it around the boards, and down the ice it goes. So Italy has killed off the first minute of this penalty. Under 3 minutes to go in the second period. Italy came out with so much energy and had a couple of great chances. And now it's sent way down the ice, and Lee Jae-hwang has to be very careful. Choi Yong-bae dropping it back. Kim Jong-sung back to the Italy blue line. McAtee got a stick on it. Right in front of the penalty box, they battle. And it is sent back down the ice again by Enderle. So far, so good for the Italian penalty kill. Less than 10 seconds on it. Long pass pushed out to center, but McAtee got in the way of it. And a delayed offside. And the penalty has ended. Kershbaumer is back on the ice, and Italy manages to do that. So 5 for 5 on the penalty kill for Italy. That's a positive for them.
Yeah, they had been 2 for 8 in the tournament coming into this contest. That power play not without incident. You see the full stretch there, Araudo, and then the follow-up shot just off the side of the net. But that was certainly job one for Italy. Got to be no worse than 2-0 down going into the third.
So 100 seconds left in this period, if you want to break it down that way. DePauli, and we've got another penalty coming. It's going to be a teeing call. It's going to be against Italy's Niels Larch, rather. 24-year-old, already playing in his 3rd Paralympic Games. Can we see it here?
And that his 2nd penalty of the game as well. Larch, very much a hero against the Slovaks a few days ago in the 2nd game in Group B, but Italians again putting themselves under pressure. It's too many penalties. They just can't keep doing this, not least because they have to find offense at the other end of the rink, and 4 against 5, it's a very tall order indeed.
Well, and using such a short bench as it is, they really are only playing about 10 players. Here's a chance from the blue line, broken up by DePauli, and he thought he might be off to the races. Now Rosa racing after the puck as he takes Choi Hyung-jae into the boards. DePauli, whose energy is just, you wish you could bottle it. Here's Lee Jung-kyung around the boards for Choi Si-woo. To the blue line for Jung Sung-hwan. Puck sent on net. Arudo the save. And the Italian goaltender will hold on with 58.4 seconds to go in period number 2. His team down 2-0.
You mentioned DePauli. He was actually the only of the Italian penalty takers in the shootout against Slovakia not to score. But clearly the fact that he volunteered to take that penalty shot shows that he has the confidence.
Shot fired over top of the Team Italy net. Korea with the luxury of kind of really spreading out their time on ice. Steal by DePauli, all that energy, and now here's Rosa. He is under pressure, falls, tries to get back on his blade, he can't. Lost a stick in the process. And Choi Hyung-jae across the ice, onto the stick now of Jung Sung-hwan. Across the Italian line. Tries to hide the puck under his sled. Takes a jolt from Macri. The puck comes all the way to the blue line. Great job by the linesman to see that that was onside, and it was. He was right there. And Jeng Dong-shin throws it on net. Arudo the save. Loose puck is sent to the blue line and rolls to center as the horn sounds. And so Italy perfect on the penalty kill so far. They'll have 25 seconds left when they begin the third, and they're down 2-0 against Korea.
Getting a little bit panicky there at the end of the second period, but the Italians, they have really impressed on the penalty kill. The problem is that they've had to impress so much in this game. And the Koreans, as they go off, I think probably on the balance of play, they were outplayed in the middle 15 minutes of this game, but they get the only goal of the period through Jung Sung-hwan, and with 15 minutes to go, they are certainly in the box seat.
Korea finding just enough offense to double their lead in that second period. And that seemed to give them a little bit of confidence again. So the shots on goal department, 7-7 in that period. You'll see those numbers momentarily, but Korea gets the only goal and spends much of the period on the power play as well. There's the shot, 7-7. Neither team yet to score on the power play in this one. So 2 periods through, 14-10, the shots favoring Korea.
Second period between the Republic of Korea and Italy in the qualifying finals of the Para Ice Hockey Tournament at Beijing 2022. Similar start to the period as we saw in the first period. The Italians on the march. They had the better early chances. That shot just clipping the crossbar. Niels Larch moving forward, but the Koreans at the other end teasing a save out of Gabriele Araujo in the Italian net. Jung Sung-hwan there charging into Araujo. We'll hear his name again during this second period recap. Sleds and bodies absolutely everywhere before the whistle finally blows here. Italians happy to play physically. They had a lot of good shooting opportunities, but the Koreans, one of their best passing moves of the game, Choi Si-woo just couldn't maneuver with his left-handed stick, getting the pass, and the chance went begging as he tried to turn around to shoot with the right hand. Araujo able to cover, keep the game at 1-0. But the Koreans on the power play, and the shorthanded chance for Christophe De Pauli racing in. He had to drag wide to his left-handed stick. The fine back-checking effort of Lee Jong-kyung it was to deny a clear goal-scoring opportunity. More pressure inside the Italian zone, and eventually the puck would be poked home. Jung Seung Hwan taking a lovely feed from Jang Dong Shin. Jang spotting the open man. One of the easier goals that Jung will ever score. Time of the goal, 10:53 of the second period. This is to Jang and Lee Jong-kyung. 2-0, slightly against the run of play for South Korea. And from there, the Koreans built upon their advantage. They had a couple of power play chances, unable thus far to convert, but still 25 seconds of 5-on-4 time to come when we start the third period. The Koreans maybe 15 minutes away from the para ice hockey semifinals.
Third period is upon us. Team Korea leading Team Italy 2-0 in this para ice hockey qualifying final. The winner goes to the semifinals here in the Beijing tournament. And the interesting thing about Korea's game so far is they have spent almost, well, a third of the time played so far on the power play. They've had 9 minutes and 42 seconds of power play. Have not scored a power play goal yet, but what it's done is it's made Italy have to work so much harder to try to kill penalties, and that cannot be something you're going to continue. You want to continue through the rest of the game.
Well, unfortunately, from Italy's perspective, they're going to have to skate another 25 seconds at the start of the period with Niels Larch in the Italian sin bin. And there you see the Italian supporters. They've seen a lot of good stuff from their skaters on the ice. They just haven't seen a goal. And as you say, when you've only got 20 minutes instead of 30 minutes to get pucks in the net at even strength or better, then you're just going to struggle. And it's a combination of a little bit of ill discipline, maybe a few chances. There was the one very good penalty that was committed by Alex Enderle, I think it was, earlier in the second period to deny a clear goal-scoring opportunity in such a way that it wasn't a penalty shot. There wasn't momentum bearing down on goal for the Korean skater. So Enderle committing that penalty, and it helped keep a goal off the board for the Republic of Korea. But Italy, that has to be one of the key messages from Massimo Durin. Stay out of the penalty box. They must score at least 2 goals in this third period, and how are they going to do that if they're skating 4-on-5 or even 3-on-5?
Well, this is very interesting. Korea has switched goaltenders. Into the net now is Choi Hyuk-jun, and staying in net for Italy is a man who's been there the whole time, Gabriel Arudo, who has stopped 12 of 14 shots. And this is really interesting. I don't know if this is a planned situation all along or if there was a reason, but obviously Lee Jae-hwang, who was voted the best goaltender in Pyeongchang at the Paralympic Games in 2018, has not been a problem.
Well, this is what happened against the Americans in the first game of Group A for South Korea. They brought on Choi after 30 minutes. He played the final period, stopped 4 out of 4 shots against the Americans, so he's clearly a competent goalie, but very interesting call, as you say, from Han Min-soo.
So Italy will be on the penalty kill with Rosa, Cavalieri, Macri, and De Pauli. And we're underway, third period action. Italy looking to kill off the final 20 seconds of this penalty and try to get some offense going. Here comes Korea sending it into the Italian zone. Jung Sung Hwan after it. Macri gets back though, and a little trouble finding the blade of his stick. It's taken away by Korea. Centering pass, there's a shot, they score! And maybe this thing is too far gone for Italy as Korea, with a goal from Jang Dong-shin, I believe, knocked that one home.
I think it might be Lee Jong-kyung in the number 28 sweater. The Koreans, brilliant little chip pass there. Jung Seung Hwan, the scorer of their second goal, creates the third. That may be one of the passes of the tournament for me. It was just beyond De Pauli. It was over the goaltender Araudo and made it quite simple for Lee Jong-kyung to score his first ever. First goal at this tournament, I should say. It's his third career Paralympic goal for Lee, who is in his 4th Paralympic Games. Suffered a paragliding accident back in 2002, which led him into the world of para ice hockey. He led Korea with 10 points at the 2010 Olympic Games, or Paralympic Games, I should say, in Vancouver.
And indeed it was the 28, the 20 and 28, the 8s I should say, are so hard to differentiate on those Korean jerseys. Here's Larch with a chance. He couldn't get it through, but that finally Korea scoring on its 5th power play of the game. And now Italy's got a mountain to climb, down by 3 with 14 minutes as they will begin offensively in the Korean zone, but not at all. After doing so well on the penalty kill in that second period for Italy, all of a sudden it slips away with this great play.
Yeah, you see the precision of the pass. That goal scored almost instantaneous with Larch coming out of the penalty box. So technically an even strength goal, but for all practical purposes, that was a 5-on-4 conversion with Larch nowhere near the play.
Yeah, the exact second, wasn't it? Pretty much that he came back on the ice. So Korea now just sends it to center. You wonder how many times we're going to say that in this period, as Italy's going to have to go all offense. Enderle. Now off the stick of Ramoti, but right back to Korea. McAdie goes back into his own corner, leaves it there for Kaufman, knocks the stick out of his teammates' hands in the process, and we've got a penalty coming here against Korea, a teeing call on Park Sang-hyun.
The Italians have 13.5 minutes now, and they've got 2 minutes of power play time coming up. I suppose their one consolation, thinking the way this period has started, is that they started so brightly in the first 2 periods and didn't make anything count. So at least maybe they can come back into the game here. It's a clear teeing violation against Park Sang-hyun, who missed out on the Pyeongchang Paralympic Games, but had played in Vancouver and in Sochi for his national side.
So Italy on the power play, and the speedy Jung Sung Hwan around the boards, but kept alive and kept in by Italy. Here's Larch, but he can't, after all, keep it in. De Pauli. So Italy has still only scored 1 regulation goal in the tournament, and now we are in the 3rd period of their 4th game. So even though they have speed and talent, the goals have just been so elusive. McAdie back in his own zone, leaves it there for Enderle. Feels like some real building blocks for the Italian team as they get ready for hosting the games in 4 years, but I'm sure they'd like a few extra goals added on. Here's a centering pass and tipped on by Rosa, and another chance in the corner. There's Rosa again. Goes left stick with a shot, couldn't get much on it. And Team Korea avoids the goal.
That's the most fluid passing we've seen from the Italians in this game, maybe in the whole competition. Able to string the passes together. Rosa with a great shooting opportunity, but a nice stop by Choi.
Remember, Italy has played now in 4 straight games. Well, I guess there was the 1 day off in there somewhere, but no, they've played in 4 straight days, haven't they? 4 out of 5. Let's clarify. Yeah, 4 out of 5 for Italy. So whereas Korea is only playing in its 3rd game, and they had a day off in there as well. So that makes the mountain even taller to climb for Team Italy.
That's where the exclusion of the RPC from the tournament really benefits the South Koreans, because they played that 1 fewer game.
De Pauli centering pass, trying to find Rosa. And Italy unable to score on that power play. Rosa in behind, gets it to De Pauli, gets it back to Larch. Now Rosa with a short side opportunity, misses it. Comes back to the blue line, Enderle. And he couldn't make much of a play, but it does go to De Pauli. And back in behind the net. The puck comes to the blue line. McAdie keeping it in. Italy's certainly getting the territorial advantage, but Korea kind of bending but not breaking. And the pass eventually finds the stick of the Korean defender, sends it down the ice. That allows Korea time to change. Here's Rosa. Drops it off for Enderle. Flips it ahead for Larch. Will this trio, this forward line for Italy, even come off here in the late stages of this game, or at least in the final 10 minutes? And it is Korea, a goal in each period, leading 3-0 over Italy in this qualifying game in Beijing.
And I think we might have had too many men on the ice penalty here as well. You know, it's just thinking it's quite tough in short tournament hockey to tell when a team is superior to its opponent or whether they've just had a bad day or had a good day in relative terms. There you see the chance for Rosa on the doorstep and the stop by Choi. It's a Korean penalty, by the way. The Italians will go back onto the 5-on-4. Yeah, I really just get the sense in this game that these two teams are pretty evenly matched, as the Koreans have taken advantage of their opportunities. The Italians have failed to score when they've had opportunities like that one we just saw for Rosa. You see it's the youngest player, Choi Si-woo, forced to serve the bench minor penalty. And maybe this is now or never for Italy. They must score here to get back into this game.
So Italy to the power play. Too many men on the ice penalty against Korea. Crunch time for Italy. Rosa trying to bring the puck out of the crowd. He does. Looks back to the blue line. Nobody there. Has to kind of keep it contained. Everybody working inside a phone booth. Finally fished out, and Rosa works it free for Andrioni, and he pushes it right back into the pile. And Korea with a chance to try to clear it, and will. And back for it goes Macri. Team Italy looking for some offense. Here's Rosa up ahead for Kaufman. Feeds a nice pass for Cavalieri. Across the blue line, the Italian captain. In for Andrioni. Right stick, left stick, fires it wide. And Macri picks it up in the corner. Curls away from trouble, still has it, throws it to the net. Rebound is loose, scramble for it. And the goaltender finally has a hold of it with 9:20 remaining in the period and 61 seconds left in the Italy power play.
Jang Dong-shin was very close to a delay of game penalty for covering the puck up. That was a snapshot from Alessandro Andreoni. Always wanted to follow in his brother Marco's footsteps. Marco having played non-disabled hockey. And Andreoni, that could have been a magical moment for him. But again, just missing the target. You've got to hit the goal and force the goaltender into a save.
And for Team Italy, yes, sure, they want to score 3 goals, but you got to get one first. Here's Cavalieri. Here's Macri. Macri with just one stick right now. Looking, surveying the scene. Makes the pass ahead for Rosa. He can't come up with it, but he'll try to hunt it down in the corner. Does. And his pass eventually lands on the stick of De Pauli, but a great defensive play by Jang Jong-ho, and it's sent down the ice by Korea.
That was amazing work, by the way, from Macri with just the one stick to keep moving forward and survey the field, make a good pass. But the Italians again couldn't get a shot onto the net of Choi Hyuk-jun.
And here's Korea trying to make a short-handed push. Final seconds of the Italian power play. Enderle, long pass. They're going to wave off the icing because they're going to say De Pauli couldn't reach it. He was knocked out of the way by the Korean player, but Korea has killed off the penalty. As we approach the halfway mark of this third period, De Pauli in for Rosa. Rosa shoots, and he snaps it wide of the net. Big collision along the boards here on this side, but here comes Korea 2-on-1, and the pass too far for Choi Si-woo. And even the young, fast Choi Si-woo couldn't keep up with that one. There's Larch. Rims it around the boards. Kept in by Choi Hyung-jae. Larch picks it up again for Italy. Off the boards for Cavalieri. And it's going to come past the blue line where Korea controls with Jung Sung-hwan. Takes his time to the Italian blue line. And across the line. Here's Sung-hwan trying to catch up to it. Can't. And Cavalieri swings it across for Enderle. His pass for De Pauli. He's got Kaufman. He feeds it to him on the fly. And he can't get it to the net. Has to try to track it down in the corner. He does. Looks out front for a pass. It goes through the traffic, but Korea controls, and back comes Jung. Busting down the right wing. Jung is bumped by Macri, but he stays on his blade. Centering pass. Comes back to Jung again. And now Italy reclaims the puck with Andreoni. Cuts to the middle of the ice. He's pretty much by himself on this rush as he dumps it in. And waits and hopes to get some help. And now he might have the puck back again. He does. Andreoni with a flip shot on net. Steered aside by Choi Hyuk-jun. And back it comes to center ice. Park Sang-hyun. And a delayed offside against Jung Sung-hwan as he has to clear and his teammates have to clear. Italy back into the Korean zone. No icing on this play as Jang Jung-ho races back for it. He is roughed up by Kaufman. And it's a delayed offside this time against Italy, so they have to clear.
Time increasingly a factor now inside the final 5.5 minutes.
And back comes Korea. This is going to be offside, though, at the Italian blue line. So 3-0 Korea in this game to punch a ticket to the semifinals here at the National Indoor Stadium.
Well, that extended passage of play, sort of Italy's experience in this game in a nutshell. They had chances to come forward. They just couldn't, again, trouble the South Korean goaltender. When they got hemmed back in, this was that great shift I mentioned from Macri. Left his stick in the corner, carried the puck along quite some way. When they got the interception, Andreoni, left-handed shot on target, but not too difficult for Choi Hyuk-jun. It's 15 shots for the Koreans to 13 for the Italians in the game. But the Italians will feel that they should be out shooting the Koreans because they've had the puck in dangerous positions and too often fired the puck wide or high of the Korean net. And really, 5.5 minutes. Can they find 3 goals? It's going to be a really tall order.
Team Italy looking to get the first before they can make the full comeback. Rosa on the faceoff. He leads all skaters in this game in ice time at over 26.5 minutes. De Pauli racing after the puck on the other side of the Korean blue line, but sent back down the ice by the team in blue. Here's Enderle back to get it. Fires around the boards. De Pauli gets it to Rosa. He's got Larch at center, feeds him the pass, one man back, Niels Larch trying to create some space for himself. What a great defensive play by Choi Young-jae, though. Cool as a cucumber, knocks the puck away.
Talk about the difficulties of being able to defend when you can't skate backward. That was about as good as you could do there. Choi Young-jae holding his ground and waiting for Larch to commit. That was the key factor there defensively. You have to be patient in defense. Watch it again, one-on-one. Larch is a right-handed stick preference, but you see, reading the play, always keeping his eye on the skater and the puck. Choi Young-jae, and fantastic job he has done.
And so Italy needing a rest and needing to think about this is called a timeout with under 5 minutes to go.
And timeouts in para ice hockey, 60 seconds as opposed to 30 in non-disabled hockey, and a chance for Massimo Durin in particular to maybe diagram a play. You see the whiteboard he's got there talking with his players. The same for Han Min-soo in front of the Korean bench area.
Well, Italy has to be happy about certain things that they've done in this game. They have generated more offense in this game than we've seen throughout the tournament. They have defended reasonably well, with the exception of a few mistakes that have come back to haunt them. giving up a goal in each period.
Certainly a better performance than they turned in against a team maybe of comparable quality in the Czech Republic in the first game of the tournament when they lost 5-0 and were comprehensively outshot as well. They only got 11 shots in that game, 13 shots thus far in this contest. And in fact, both teams combining for more shots than they had in the bronze medal game 4 years ago between these sides. It's a sign that they have demonstrated offensive intent for all 45 minutes, or heading that way.
McAtee has the puck at center ice for Italy. His team down by 3. Here comes McAtee. He led them in scoring at the World Championships last year, and he sends it off the side of the net. McAtee, the defenseman, is deep in behind the Korean icing line. Rosa comes in to help. Kept in at the blue line by Enderle. Now Rosa. Now De Pauli. Get it on his stick. Gets a shot, and he just pushes it wide. Goaltender got a piece of it. Here's Rosa with a heavy hit that creates a turnover for Macri. The Korean player able to push it to the blue line, not out. So Italy fighting to the end here with under 4 minutes to go in the third. Larch. But it's Choi Young-jae around the boards. Enderle keeping it in. The shot on net stopped by Choi Hyuk-jun, and he will freeze it with 3:40 on the clock.
Oh, you feel for the Italians. Once again, they should have had maybe 3 or 4 shots on goal during that shift. That effort's wide of the mark. Rosa and then De Pauli just scooting wide from no more than 10 feet out. You know, 14 shots, could have been 25 at this point maybe for Italy.
And they've got some tired players out there too. Here's a flip shot on net by Rosa. And finally, Choi Hyuk-jun, the 49-year-old veteran goaltender, decides to hold on.
The tournament takes an off day tomorrow, so both of these sides will play again, one of them in the 5 versus 6 consolation game and one of them in the semifinals. Certainly, I think both teams are going to be happy for a good 48 hours of R&R before they take the ice again.
Another face-off win by Italy. There's a shot just off the side of the net. Now Rosa bangs it to Macri, but it's going to be called on the glove pass. Macri saying, no, it hit my arm. And referee Esposito says, no, blew it down, glove pass. I'm happy with the call.
I don't think there was any intent there to pass it with the hand. Once again, how close can you come to hitting the target? But a miss as good as a mile. Would have been tough there for Choi to get the glove down and keep that puck out at his near post.
We'll keep an eye on that man, Arudo. Will he come out for an extra attacker? And if so, how soon? 3:18 left. Italy needs 3 to tie. Seems like a stretch. They've only scored 1 goal in regulation in the tournament. Here comes Korea. Jung Sung Hwan into the middle, broken up by Macri. Andrea Macri gives it away though. Enderle comes in, slams into Choi Si-woo. Once you go down on your sled, it takes a little bit of effort to get back on your blades again. Here's Rosa, has the puck under his glove. Now he pushes it to Macri. He'll send it to open ice. De Pauli in a race. And hustling back is Kim Young-son. It goes right to the net, where it is covered up by Choi Hyuk-jun.
Well, De Pauli, one of 3 Italian skaters with more than 25 minutes of ice time in this game. And in fact, it is Gianluigi Rosa with the most ice time of any player on either team, with nearly 27 minutes after he'd skated for so little of their previous encounter against China. Maybe they were keeping him in reserve for this game. As you see, 6-on-5, the net is empty at the Italian end of the ice. They must score quickly.
Rosa staying out there. And this time the faceoff won by Korea. They float it down the ice, scores! Korea with an empty net goal. And Jang Dong-sin It is Jang Dong-shin with his second of the game. He just lofts it up in the air, and somehow it finds its way in.
And that's the first empty net goal of the tournament thus far, and it's so difficult to show that kind of pinpoint precision from your own end of the ice, much more so than in non-disabled hockey. So real credit to Jang for the goal. He had an assist on Jung Seung Hwan's goal earlier in the game. He opened the scoring for Korea, so it's a 3-point effort for him, and thoroughly deserved. He's played well at both ends of the ice, and that certainly the capper to see the Koreans through to the semifinals.
It would seem that way. So Korea coming into this with just 1 goal scored in their first 2 games, and here they erupt for 4. 1 in each period at even strength, and then 1 here with an empty net. Here is a chance for Italy to break the ice, but Ramotti fans on it, and then the goaltender is back in. We've got pretty much a 2-on-0 as Ryu Ji-hyun races in, and Arudo shuts the door and holds on.
Well, that was textbook goaltending from Araujo. Saw that Ryu had gone a bit wide down that left wing, and so he sprawled, again making himself wide along the ice and able to give up no rebound as well.
And so Coach Massimo Darin just, I don't know what else he can do. He's got his players doing certain things well, but it's just a little too late now. So he's going deeper into the bench. Kirschbaumer hasn't seen the ice in a while. Gets it ahead for Kaufman. Ahead for Ramotti. Dumps it into the Korean corner. Less than a minute and a half to play now, as Korea will await its opponent in the semifinals. Flipping the puck out to center. Kirschbaumer trying to get in front of the Korean player Choi Bae-suk. He does. And now Enderle has it knocked away. It's Ramotti who picks it up, though, and he'll work it across the ice for Kaufman. Big collision at center. Choi Bae-suk trying to work it ahead. It ends up on this side of the ice, and it is lofted in by Kim Yong-sung. Just over half a minute now to play. And Korea sends it right back into the Italian zone. Back forward to Stefan Kirschbaumer. The pass eventually ahead for Kaufman, trying to track it down. Slides to the net where it's swatted away by Choi Hyuk-jun. And after failing to score in its first 2 games of the tournament, Korea erupts with 4 in this one, including an empty netter, and a 4-0 win over Italy. And Korea is off to the semifinals in Beijing, getting a big effort from Jang Dong-shin, 2 goals and 1 assist, and he leads the way for this Korean side to go back to the semifinals again.
And to be perfectly fair, this was not a 4-0 sort of game. 17 shots to 15. The Italians had plenty of chances, but it was the Koreans taking advantage of their opportunities, and it's a deserved result. Maybe not a 4-0 result, but the Koreans will probably have to improve if they want to pose any difficulty in the semifinals. The Italians will play in the 5 versus 6 consolation game now. And great to see the sporting spirit once again. The post-game fist bumps and both teams coming together. It was a game played in a pretty good spirit despite all the penalties in the contest. And the Italians, well, I'm sure they will be ruing what might have been had they taken some of their chances and put the Koreans under a little bit more pressure. But this was really one of the closer games of the competition thus far.
Couple of Italian players around the 30-minute mark, Macri and Rosa on either side of 30 minutes. De Paoli plays 28 minutes. And there you see the power plays could have helped either team change the look of the game. if Italy scores on any of its 5 chances. But they did well on the penalty kill, so special teams important in that sense. So Team Korea off to the semifinal. Italy will play and battle for 5th place. There's Captain Cavalieri. Well, the referees were busy in this one. Lots of penalties, lots of power plays, but it was the team in blue. Team Korea wins it 4-0 over Italy. Korea came in as the higher-ranked team, had struggled in its opening 2 games against a couple of powerhouse teams in USA and Canada, unable to really generate much, managed just the 1 goal. But in this one, they score 3 and then add an empty net goal for an impressive 4-0 win. And so for the 2nd Paralympic Games in a row, it'll be Korea battling into the semifinals. Last time around, ended up in the bronze medal game and took the bronze medal. We'll see where it goes in Beijing 2022. But Korea, the winner, 4-0 over Italy in this qualifying final at the Paralympic Winter Games here in Beijing, China.